I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create logos using the Builderall Pixel Perfect website builder. Let's go ahead and jump in and see how to do this because it's really neat. When you're developing a logo, you can actually do it right through the website builder. So the first thing I need to do is go to Builders and then drag and drop Pixel Perfect Builder, and then I need to go to New Websites. And then from here, I'm going to choose Blank Page. And I'm going to scroll down until I find the completely blank, clean layout. When I do that, I'm going to click Edit, and it opens a brand new blank template. All right, now I've got my editor open, and I need to figure out what type of company I'm working with, what type of logo do I want. Do I want the name in the logo, or do I want it just a symbol? But I'm working with a new product of mine called Social Media Explosion. And I want to put together a graphic to be able to add to my web pages, to my advertising graphics, and all the different things that I'm going to need to be able to market my product. So Social Media Explosion, I don't really see being an image. I see it being a text-based logo. So to do that, I have a great website called Cooltext.com. So I'm going to go over there and check it out. So this is Cooltext.com. Here's where you can generate some really cool graphics. So I really like all of these different types, and when I look at it, I'm thinking about the company that I'm building, and the logo and the feel, the look of the logo, the feel of the logo, the color of the logos, everything all together, the whole package, and what it speaks to me. And there's a little bit of intuition in this. You just got to kind of take a look. So let's say if I looked at vampire. If I look at this particular Cooltext, it definitely has a dark feel to it, very Halloweenish, and that's not something that I want Social Media Explosion to look like. So I'll look at a few other ones like this one right here. This one, Sushi Cooltext, looks great, but not quite the look that I want for Social Media Explosion. So if I just kind of look around, the one that really jumps out, actually there's this one right here, this one right here, and probably this one right here. So the simple, the keen, and the skate. And this one, the skate, I actually kind of like it because it does almost have, it has a very easy look to it, right? It's got the black background, it's got the blue in there, it's got kind of that weathered look to it. In Social Media Explosion, that might actually work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this. Now when you're doing a logo, you definitely want the colors that you want for your website, and you want the kind of design of the text that's going to flow throughout the rest of the website. So I need to be aware of that when I'm creating this. Also, when you design a logo, all of the text isn't exactly the same through the whole logo. So you have to decide, what do I want it to look like, where I've got different types of text together that actually match each other. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this part, social media, and then make the word explosion look a little bit different. So let me start off by typing in social media. There we go. And it will adjust this to make it look the way I want it to, which is great. I like that look a lot. If I wanted to, I could go into the logo area and change the colors. So if you didn't want the blue, you can change it to any color that you want to. And remember that this is the start color and end color of this gradient right here. If you take a look at the bottom, it's a little bit darker blue than at the top. So you could change that to maybe a light green at the top and a dark green at the bottom, and it would use that gradient change. And then the outline color is black on this one. You can change that to any color you want. So there's a lot of neat ways that you can adjust everything. And then there's also the outline width. So you can make the outline smaller, or you can make the outline bigger. So it depends on the look that you want for your logo. Now, usually this takes a few times to go through and create a few logos and see how they look, and see what the color is, and then you can change them and look at another one and get another example and another example, and you can look at several different examples before you decide on the one that you want to be your final version. So you've also got the ability to create shadow and there's a little bit of shadow on this one. And then the image itself, you can actually choose to align it differently. You can change the size of it, and you can change the format of this. I suggest that you stick with PNG with a transparency in the background. That way you don't have any background on it, so you can put it up against anything and you'll still be able to see your logo really well. And then the composite, you can add another layer if you want to. I usually do not. I keep the layers separate so I can move them around and play with them a little bit. So I'm going to stick with this right now, and I'm going to go to Create Logo. And there it is right there. And I can choose to download it, or I can just copy it. I need to download it because I'm going to be adding it to that blank website. So I'm going to click Download. And there it is, Cooltext 2968 down there at the bottom. So now I'm going to go back to my website and pull it in. All right, so I'm at my blank website, and I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to go to image. There we go. I'm going to right click and change image. I'm going to go into my training folder, and I'm going to click upload. And now I'm going to find where I saved it, which it was in the downloads. It's under Cooltext. And there it is right there, and I'm going to click open. And then I'll just check mark it and confirm. All right, so now I have that in there, and I'm going to move my footer down a little bit so we have some room to play. So we have that part in there. That's a good beginning of a logo. So the next word I have to put in there is explosion. So let's go ahead and go to plus and text. And I'm just going to grab the largest text, and I'm going to type in explosion. Now this, looks okay, right? But it's not fancy and it's not impressive. So I'm going to highlight this and maybe make it a little bit bigger. And we'll go with let's go with 100 and see what it looks like. Okay, that's pretty big. May make it a little bit smaller, but we'll see. So let's make it at 80. There we go, that's a little bit better. Okay, so now we're working a little bit better, but that word explosion still doesn't have any excitement in there. So I'm going to click on it again. And we'll go to the font. And here's all the different font styles. So now I can start kind of playing with how this looks. So I can go to maybe this. And nope, I don't like that. So I'll change it again. Well, that's getting closer. That looks pretty good. Let's go italic and see what that does as an angle. Close, but not quite. All right, so take a look again. So I'm going to speed this up so you can see me going through the process of choosing my font that I want for the word explosion. All right, so I decided on that. I like the way that looks for sure. I also like the way the L kind of almost goes up into the M like that. That looks really good. So we'll say that that is a good start to a basic idea of a logo. So the next thing that I can do is I can actually capture this into an image. And I can also add, some pictures if I want to. If I wanted to add like a little image, I can go here to text and delete all that in there. So there's no text in there. and I go to this little flag, and these are icons. So I can click the icon. And there's a ton of little icons in here. And if we're talking about social media, we can go through here and see if we can find anything that fits. So let's say we can grab this guy and click confirm. Now we've got that in there. And if I highlight it and I click and drag over it, it doesn't look like it's highlighted. But what I can do is click size and then go and change the size, maybe make it a 100. Like that, and it makes it, bigger. And then I can also highlight it and change the color to, let's say, blue, like that. And then I can go and actually add it if I want to. You don't have to add an image, it's not necessary, but if you wanted to, that's one way that you can do it. So I'm going to take that guy out because I don't want an image in my text logo. And the next thing I can do is capture it and get it ready to start cleaning it up a bit so that I can make a transparent background. So to do that, I'm going to go to preview, and there's a preview of what that logo looks like. And up here in the top left, there's a button called a photo. And if I click that, I can actually end up taking a picture. So I want to capture just a part of the page. So I'm going to click part, and that gives me crosshairs. And then I'm going to go ahead and highlight around that logo, all the way around it, make sure I've got all of it in there. And I'm clicking and dragging to do this. Once I get it highlighted exactly the way I want, I'm going to let go so that it takes a picture of my logo, and it actually downloaded it immediately right here at the bottom. So if I click on that, this is what I have so far. So this is what my logo is looking like so far. But remember that a lot of times, if you're putting this on a website, the background needs to be transparent. It needs to be hidden. You don't want it to be in there. You want it to kind of float on top of whatever you put it on. So I'm going to show you how to take out the background and make it so that it's a transparent PNG. So I'm going to close that for now. And remember, this is website with the parentheses 12. And let's go back into our dashboard. So I'm back in my dashboard, and I'm going to go to Design and Photo Studio. And this is going to allow me to take that image that I just created, and we're going to take out the background. So I'm just going to go into Social Media Explosion, and I'm going to add a file, and I'm going to choose my file. And remember, it was in Downloads, and it was a website was the name of it. And it was website 12. So I'm going to click Open and then add it. And it says the file was added, so I click OK. All right, now I've got my picture in there, and I'm going to go to Edit. And so I'm working on editing my picture. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to where it says Background. And as you can see, I've got a white background that I want to get rid of. I want to make that transparent. So I'm going to click inside this box to choose the color for replacement. So my cursor's in there. Now I'm going to take my pointer, my mouse, and I'm going to click right on the white area. And what it does is it takes out all of the white. But if you'll notice, there's still some white in there, and it didn't take all of it out. So it's not going to be a completely transparent picture. You can use this, but if there's extra places that don't become transparent, I've got another program that I can show you. But before we leave this area, remember, you can always save this picture and then go to the embed area, and there's a link where you can go to your picture and actually download it from there. But let's take a look at this other program that I use that does a little bit better job of taking the more difficult areas of the background out. So now I want to show a program that I use that we can take the background out and make it a really clean image with a transparent background, so you can put this anywhere that you want to on your website. And to do that, I use Gimp. Gimp is a free software that allows you to edit pictures, and it's pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and jump into Gimp. All right, this is the Gimp program. You'll find this on Gimp, GIMP.org. It's free to download, and it doesn't cost anything to use. And there are a ton of tutorials on YouTube on how to use Gimp. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that file. So I go to File and Open. And I'm going to go to my downloads. And I'll find that file that I downloaded. And now there's my file that I downloaded. It's the logo with the white background, and I want to take the white background off. To do that, I'm going to use this special tool right here. It's called the Magic Wand. And when I click on it, it activates that wand. And then I'm going to click on the white area, and it highlights around everywhere it's going to delete. And I want you to notice that it isn't going very close to the letters. So if I delete now, it's actually going to leave a lot of white in there. And I don't want it to leave any white in there. I want it to go very, very close to the actual lettering so there's no white left. So there's an area right here called threshold. And I can increase the threshold so that it chooses more white. So once I increase the threshold, I click it again, and you can see now that it's way closer to the lettering. So I'm going to increase the threshold a little bit more, and then click it again. And now it's very, very close. I think that's probably going to be pretty good. So once I get it so it's looking very close to the lettering, and it's not going to leave any white, all I do is hit the delete button. And what's happening now is that I don't have a transparent background behind it. So to undo, I just do Control-Z. That undoes everything that I did. And I'm going to add another layer right here. So down in this area, there's a little button that's Add a Layer. I'm going to click that. And I'm going to make sure that layer is transparent. And I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to put that down below where this one is. So there's layer 1 and layer 2. So the transparency layer is underneath the actual image. I next need to add an alpha channel. So I'm going to right click that layer and add alpha channel. That allows me to delete things, and that layer underneath will show through. So now I click again and then make sure that layer is selected, click again and hit delete. And now you can see that I'm starting to get a transparent background, but you see that there's still white in the middle of those letters. So we need to take that out. So I'm going to click on the white area there and hit delete. The white area there, hit delete. The whitish gray area there, hit delete. There, there, and there. And now you can see that we've taken all the white out of it, and it doesn't look like there's any white left. I think that maybe we'll get rid of that gray. Nope, that's not going to do it. Nope, that's all gone. So everything looks great. I'm very happy with the way that looks. So in Gimp, you have to save a little bit differently. If you save it, then it's a project. If you export it, then you can export it as the type of file you want. So I'm going to go to File and Export As. And I'm going to make sure that when I choose to save it, I'll put I'll name it Logo 1. But I want to export it as a PNG. So where it says All Export Image Types, I'm going to pull that down, and I'm going to choose PNG. The PNG format is what will allow it to keep that transparent background. If you don't do it as a PNG, it will not have a transparent background. Also, this has JPG at the end of it. That means it's a JPEG type of file. We don't want it to be a JPEG. We want it to be a PNG. So I'm naming it logo1.png, and I've saved the format as PNG. And now I'm going to go to right here. It's got in the Downloads folder. So Downloads folder, Logo 1, PNG, and I'm going to export. Fantastic. And now our picture's saved. So I'm going to go back into my editor and my builder, and we're going to take a look at what this looks like. So here I am back at my editor, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a file. So I just copied that file, and I'm going to right click and change image. And then I'm going to go to Upload, and I'm going to go to my download folder and find Logo 1. There we go. Now it's loading, and I'm going to click on it to get the little check mark and then click confirm. And right now it looks like almost exactly the same as what we have here, right? But there's a transparent background, so watch when I go over this text. You see there's nothing in the background. So this is pretty cool because now I can choose anything I want to for the background color, and it will work because there's no more white behind that image. So I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to choose a box. I'm going to pull in just any old box. And if you'll notice, when I take this and pull it over it, you can still see that blue coming through. There's a little bit of gray right there that I could have taken out, but other than that, everything looks great. And I can change the color of this background. Let's go to Appearance, and we'll make the color yellow. How about a bright yellow? So there we go, bright yellow. And now you can see that it's actually looks really different on the yellow background. So this is so cool because you don't have to have a white background. You can do any color background, and this will be able to be placed on any background because that white is gone. It's got a transparent background. So that's the point of taking it into Gimp and actually working to get the white background taken out. That way you can put it anywhere you want to, and it doesn't have to be on a white background. Okay, so that's how you can create a logo inside of Builderall and be able to save it and do a little bit of editing in Gimp. Now you can actually take this into your design studio, into the photo studio, and you can remove the background there, but it's a little bit more difficult because getting inside that inside the O and the C and the D, that's a little bit more difficult to get into because the colors are just a little bit different, so it doesn't pull it out as neatly as Gimp does. So you can do it either way. You can do it Design Studio, under Photo Studio, or you can do it in Gimp. So that's how you can create your own logo inside of the Builderall Pixel Perfect Builder. Instead of paying good money for someone to make you a logo, you can actually make it yourself. Very exciting. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.